Get started. My name is George Ayala with Napa County IHSS Public Authority. I want to welcome you to this Provider Education and Appreciation Luncheon. We are definitely happy to have you. Just really quick, you should have folders as you came in with a few items in there, including the program for today. It's a black folder that looks like this. And all the folks who have their headsets for purpose of translations, please go ahead and turn that on. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of you for the hard work that you do. Being a care provider can be challenging at times, to say the least, as you might know. We recognize it takes a special person to do what you do. You are definitely key in allowing the people you care for to remain in their own home. Once again, thank you for all that you do, and we hope you enjoy the event. Without further ado, I will pass the mic to Elaine Paoli, the Vice Chairperson with the Napa County IHSS Public Authority Advisory Committee.
Real close.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. First, I'd like to introduce the advisory Randy. No, I didn't say his name right at the end. But Randy's been with us for 18 years, and he's our head chair and has the most history, probably. Then there's me. I'm the vice chair. My name's Elaine Paoli, and I've been 7 years. We also have Doug Weir, who's our secretary, and he's been on for 17 years. And then we have Gloria Barber, and she's been on for 4 years. Can I have you guys stand up? This is Gloria. Doug is on the camera. And Randy is up here in the front. We're excited. Next month we are getting 2 new members, and they are providers. One is Jean. Jean, would you like to stand up, please? And one is Marilyn. Some of you may not know what the advisory committee does. The advisory committee does a few things. We like to do outreach programs so that people know what IHSS is and that maybe they can qualify. We're also doing outreach to find providers and for people to know that what the IHSS program is, and we want to keep it going. So part of also what we do is follow legislation and see what the new upcoming issues are and how that will affect us. So we do some of the lobbying. We also keep up with the latest technology and are told about that. And this presentation is in lieu of one of those, which you'll be seeing today on the time cards. And I know you guys are always excited to hear about new changes with time cards. I was a provider for 8 years. Let's see. We also we go out in the community, we do outreach, we go to, say, the hospitals or to the fairs, we go to other both things, there's other places where agencies sort of get together. We go up to Sacramento to do some sharing about our program legislation. So we actually do quite a bit. The big thing that we need, though, is for you guys to tell us what you need and what's your concerns. The same for the clients. We really appreciate the feedback. Right now we have 2 openings, which can be either for a recipient or provider. We have some that have left us, either from moving or applying to different hours. And we did just recently lose one of our members to passing away. Just going in parts. Anyways, at this point, I'd like to call Gloria up here. No, he doesn't have experience. I'm going to pass the microphone to Gloria because we're going to give out appreciation certificates. And I'm not as good with names as they are.
Gloria just chickened out, so I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna go ahead and give out some certificate of appreciation for the several different areas. And we would, so stand up if you're a provider who travels, say, 5 miles to get to your job. Anyone travels 5 miles to get to their jobs? Anyone who travels 10 miles to get to their work? Stand up. 10 miles? 20 miles? 10 miles? 13? Please remain standing for, okay. So 5, 13, 10. Anyone travels more than 13 miles? You travel more than 13 miles? Great, so let's slide 10 back there, 13. So these two folks. So if the folks who travel more than 13 miles and more, if you would like to come up, we will provide you with a certificate of appreciation. Okay, so as we do that, we will do the next ones coming up. So how about folks who are, so the next one is folks who are, have been providing care for, care the most to a recipient. So as far as someone who's been caring for, let's start with 2 years, who's been caring for a recipient for 2 years? Stand up. 5 years? So 5 years, 5 years. How about folks who've been caring for more than 5 years? 10 years. Please stand up. 10 years? No? 10 years? 10 years? Right there? 10 years. 15 years. 15? Huh? 15? 10. So raise your hand who, folks who have been caring for someone for 10 years. Back there, back there. So we have 3. Wow. Okay. So I'll ask Gloria to pick 2 of you to come up and get your appreciation certificate. Estamos teniendo un poco de dificultades técnicas con los elementos de los audífonos, so, por favor tengan paciencia. Okay, so now the next category, if you will. Okay. So the next certificate, we have 2 certificates of appreciation for folks who have been carrying the shortest period of time to recipients of IHSS services. So who has been who just recently began to care for someone? One? You just began, okay. So 2 people that recently began or have a very short time of care providing. 2 people over here. You 2 come on up. Once again, quisiera recordarles que ahora estamos trabajando con los audífonos, con las piezas para que funcionen. Esperemos que tengan eso corregido en un momento. Ahorita lo van a tratar de solucionarlo. So I would just like to mention really quick who in this room are on the registry, the public authority registry? Raise your hand. Anyone on the registry? On the Napa County HSS Public Authority Registry? Who is not on the registry? All of you? So if you look to the back and to your left, you'll see Mario. We are actually hiring providers to come on our registry, so please, whenever you have a moment, stop by the table and talk to Mario. We are definitely hiring. You can start today if you wanted to. So please come and visit Mario, and he has applications and more information for you. Another quick reminder, as you walk in, they gave you a little, not sticker, but a little piece of paper with your choice, your food choice. Please put that in front of you so that the servers know when they come around what you are eating. It should be a little square, yeah, please have those in front of you so that the servers are able to know your food choice. So if does everyone have a folder in front of you? Yes, raise your hand, everybody? Okay. So there's a program to kind of follow what's happening and more information. Just really quick, in that folder, there's an important contact information, there's other IHSS sheets in there for you. And so the program actually looks like this. It's in Spanish and English. So if you want to follow, see what's going on. All right. So again, están teniendo de nuevo dificultades con los audios, con el audio. Los audífonos están tratando de arreglar. Y esperamos que pronto esté solucionado eso. So in lieu of the next speaker, he is here. Okay. So next up, we have Kevin Tui, Emergency Services Officer, that will talk to you about public safety power shutdown and emergency preparedness. Welcome.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Now we gotta do during lunch.
Okay, so I'll pass on the mic to Kevin Tui.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Kevin Tui. I'm with County Office of Emergency Services, and we're the program. Our program is we're concerned about preparedness in the community. Our responsibilities for the county include planning for emergencies. That's developing plans, and action plans, and making sure that we have everything in line for that. Training and grant management. So I coordinate all the training, emergency training for the entire county, including all the cities. And then we do actually grant management. We've been able to get about $1.2 million worth of grants in the last few years, which then we apply to equipment, training, response throughout the county. A couple examples of that, we did a countywide active shooter training with all the police and fire agencies last January. And that went very well, and we're doing a full-scale bioterrorism exercise here in a few weeks. I just left the meeting planning on that. We also coordinate the response for any emergencies to the county. So my team goes to the Emergency Operations Center, set up the Sheriff's Department, and then we support and assist the field response in the county. So during the fires in 2017, we coordinate and support the fire response in the county, but we also manage all the law enforcement response that came for the evacuations, and then the security in the evacuation zones, all the shelter management, and then we then ended up responsible for the recovery. So all the debris management and the entire response and recovery for the county went on for a year as we cleaned up over 1,000 sites where homes and outbuildings were destroyed, rebuilt the guardrails and all the roads damage that we had in that. So that's what we do. Recently, we just had the February storms. Remember the heavy rains in February? Does anybody remember how much it rained in February? Now the sun's out, nobody really cares about that. But we had over $15 million in damages to our roads. And it was actually declared a federal disaster. So my office then coordinates the response and recovery for that. So the Napa County is eligible to get funds from the federal government to help assist us in our response.
Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you. So does everybody know what Nixle is? Does everybody get Nixles?
Yes.
So Nixle is our mass communications program that we use in the county, but you have to sign up for it, all right? So you need to sign up. All of the agencies and all the people in the room that are doing support services need to be able to get the Nixle messages. And to do that, to sign up, you text your zip code to 888-777, and that registers you for Nixles. My office is responsible for getting the Nixles out to the county, and we do them both in English and Spanish. So recently with our public safety power shutdown, we messaged out on Friday night that the shutdown was happening and actually had a link to the map of the area where the shutdown was happening. So the messaging from PG&E in that event wasn't very clear about, they were saying Napa and Eastern Napa County, but they weren't getting out where the actual event was going to happen, where the power was going to be shut down. We got that mapping from PG&E and we put it out on Nixle so people in the county were aware of where the power shutdown was actually going to take place. All right, so I need everybody in the room. Who signed up for Nixle right now? I am. Well, I need more hands than that. This is not a good show. So this means I'm not doing my job unless everybody in this room gets signed up for Nixle before I leave. So you can text your zip code to 888-777 and then you'll be getting my message. And I try not to send them between midnight and 6 in the morning. Sometimes that happens. The other thing that we do is we do emergency messaging and communications, and that's the wireless emergency alert. So we can pick an area in the county and broadcast an emergency alert wireless to all the wireless phones, whether you don't have to subscribe to this system. And I can then ping all the cell phones, as long as the cell phone tower is working, and get that message to you. This is a federal program. We did not have it available to us in the fires in 2017, but we have it now, and I can literally blanket the whole county, or I can geolocate. I can take a geographical area that I want to put a message out in and get that to your cell phone. The other part of the program is the EAS, the Emergency Alert System, and that's the Amber Alert System that comes over your TVs, right, and your phones, that there's an Amber Alert. So we can also get that same message out on that platform. Currently, this is a FEMA program. Currently, it's not available in Spanish. They're doing an upgrade that was promised by June, and it's now going to be delayed, we hope by September. But with the new upgrade, that message will also go out in Spanish. On the wireless emergency alert, the Amber Alerts do go out in Spanish. So our office handles that messaging for Napa County. So does everybody know what a red flag warning is?
Yes.
Who knows what a red flag warning is? So I send out Nixles on every red flag warning. So red flag warnings means that we have weather, wind, low humidity, and the potential for rapid fire spread. all right? And in Napa County, we've had our history of fires, correct? Right? We have multiple fires every year. So red flag warnings, when you get that red flag warning, or you hear it on the news, they're talking about a red flag warning for Napa County from Thursday night till Saturday morning. You need to think in your mind, well, I need to prepare myself for that. I need to know what would happen in case that a fire actually starts. So what should you do, right? You should make sure your car has gas in it. You should point your car away from your home so you don't have to worry about backing out if you live in a rural area. Unlock your gates. We had a lot of people trapped behind gates when the power went out. You want to make sure your gate's open. Open your garage door. Cycle your generator if you're on a generator. Make sure the hoses and water is accessible and in working order. Remove the stuff around your homes that are going to catch fire. Trash cans, furniture, those kinds of things that you don't think about. It's a nice place to store them under the eaves of your house, but it's a bad place because embers from embers can travel 1 to 2 miles out ahead of a fire and catch that kind of material on fire, trash cans, a sofa, furniture next to your house. And then once the fire gets up to the eave of the house and gets in your attic, we're going to lose your house. So you need to think about that. Clear off your deck above and below, all right? Move your barbecue and propane tank away from the house. Obviously, we need reasons to do that. Remove debris from your roof and gutters. How many have cleaned out their gutters this year from all the winter debris, all the leaves that have fallen off the trees in the fall? That's where fire can get started. Does everybody have a go bag? Does everybody have an emergency bag? All right, a go bag is something that you can grab that has supplies that you can have for the next 2 or 3 days. Some cash, some emergency blanket, flashlight, those types of things. I have shoes that I can hike in. You may be in your car or driving to work, and you have to then be able to get to where you're going to go. So you need to have your go bag ready. Have it by the front door or in your car. Charge your phone, right? Make sure your phone's charged. And be aware of the public safety power shuts down. What I'll be talking about. Have a good flashlight and batteries. There are little hand crank radios. We have a contract with KDON, KDYN, the local radio station, to, in emergencies, help us broadcast emergency information to the public. During the fires, that was really critical. We lost 40 cell towers between Napa and Sonoma. All right? We could not communicate by cell phones. It was very challenging for 3 to 4 days. So you need to be able to get messaging, and we broadcast that message over the local AM and FM radio. All right? They have emergency backup generators to be able to provide their radio frequency out, and that's where we do messaging. So you need to be able to get that. They have little hand crank radios that you can purchase at a very low price to be able to get that information. All right, everybody know what a public safety power shutdown is? Anybody experienced it recently? No? All right, so our public utility, PG&E, is now, because they have the ability to try to shut down their facilities, the equipment that provides power to you, from starting fires, they're going to shut those utilities down in high fire danger times, all right? So whenever we go to red flag warnings, it's an indication that they have the ability to, PG&E is going to be monitoring their weather, and they're going to shut down grids, so their equipment does not start fires, all right? They've been responsible for starting fire. Their equipment's been responsible for starting fires the last few years. Recently, the Atlas fire, the Partridge fire, the Tubbs fire was not caused by their equipment. It was caused by electrical equipment, but not PG&E's. And then also up in Shasta and then up in Butte County with the Paradise fire. So their equipment, they're going to shut it down to keep us safe from fires. So this is the difference. This year, they're shutting down transmission lines, the big lines that bring power in from the east and the west. And what that means is it can impact everybody in this room. If you get power from PG&E, your power could be shut down this year. So you need to plan for that, all right? And you need to be prepared for that. The issue is when they shut power down, they will start to restore it as soon as it's safe, but they have to visually inspect every line, and it may take them 2 or 3 days to get the power on. Are you prepared to be without power for 2 or 3 days?
What happens to people that have oxygen?
I'll talk about that. So most people aren't prepared for that. Some of the people in our rural county areas are. They have generators. They are used to having their power down for a while. But most people who live in Napa City or in the metropolitan areas aren't ready for that. You need to be prepared for that. You need to have a plan for that. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna happen. We had one a week ago where they shut down power in the eastern part of the county. It impacted only 1,600 customers. But a year ago, we had the power outage that they shut down in Calistoga, and we had over 8,000 people without power. This year, because they're going to shut transmission lines down, we're talking 10 to 20 to 30,000 people may be without power. That means that you could be without power. All right, so we need to plan for that. So you need to sign up for getting alerts from PG&E. I currently am. You can go on their website, even if you're a customer or not, and sign up to get their alerts, and they will notify you when power is going to be shut down in an area. In my neighborhood, I live in Alta Heights. The other night, we had a vehicle accident that took out a power pole. The power was out for about 2 hours. I actually got a text alert when the power was out, and I got a text alert when the power came back on. All right? And they were pretty good about that. So you need to visit pgne.com, my wildfire alerts, or call the number during business hours and update your information. You need to plan for medical needs like medications. Are your medications, do they need to be refrigerated? When the power shuts down, that's going to be an issue. You can keep your refrigerator door closed and that'll be good for 24 to 36 hours, but you need to monitor that. Identify backup charging methods, all right? Do you have a generator? Where can you go to get things powered up? Restock your emergency kit. Have a flashlight. I use headlamps. I wear a little headlamp. Have one in my car so I can use my hands, hands-free with a headlamp. And then more information is on their website under wildfire safety. So make sure you get on PG&E and understand that. These are our evacuation centers and shelter sites for the county. 5 of them are in the high fire severity zones for PG&E. The red zone on the map is the high fire severity zone, which is mostly in the northern end of the county and the east and western hills and north of Calistoga. The yellow area is our eastern county, but it goes all the way down to the east side of Napa. So what I have done, I've developed a plan to respond to these power safety shutdowns. We have mapped our evacuation centers, our licensed care facilities, our residential and elder care facilities, and our home health agencies, the schools. And so when PG&E goes to shut the power down, then I overlay their map onto our maps, and then I'm able to see how it's impacting me. The question was about what about people on durable medical equipment? Equipment that needs electricity for medical reasons, right? We have our list of those people that we are able to prioritize, and we overlay it over the power shutdown area, and then we're able to know who is in high priority and needs to be contacted to make sure they're in good shape. The county has done outreach to everybody that is getting support services, and hopefully you got that message or getting that message about being prepared to be on your own without power for 2 or 3 days and making plans to be able to make that happen. All right? In support of that, I've been upgrading all my shelter equipment. In 2015, we had the fires up in Lake County. I opened a shelter in Calistoga for people in northeast Napa County. I had 1,200 people from Lake County show up to my shelter in Calistoga. Since that time, the county has owned the shelter component of our response. So I have shelter support trailers now that actually have the beds, the bedding, the cots, the access and functional needs cots to be able to stand up our own shelters. We've also bought generators to be able to provide power in our shelters. It's not going to light up like a huge area, but it's going to be able to get lights and enough power to recharge devices, durable medical equipment devices, and that's so I got a set of generators to do that. Does everybody know what CERT is? Citizen Emergency Response Team? Anybody know? All right, our CERT program is under my office, and what we're doing is it's a nationwide program to train people to help in disasters. And these people go through a 20-hour course and learn things about first aid, how to shut off electric and gas, be able to assist people, help extricate people from if they're trapped in their homes. So this program is under our office, and we have we train people throughout the year. We do a set of classes. We just completed trainings up at Berryessa Highlands in January. We did our annual refresher in February. We did a class in American Canyon and in Yountville in April, and we're currently doing a class for Englewood and Deer Park. We do a full-scale exercise in October, and then we have a class in Napa City. These classes are free to anybody in the county who wants to take the class. And then we get you on a list, and then when we have an incident or we need some help, we call out the CERT people. The CERT teams help me with my shelters and the fires. I have 4 shelters going, taking care of about 3,000 people, and the CERT members came and helped and volunteered to support them. This is one of the classes up in Berryessa. You get that nice green vest with that nice green helmet. Isn't that nice? Doesn't everybody want one of those? Yes. So does anybody have questions for me about what emergency services does, what we're doing to plan for disasters? Any questions about public safety power shutdowns? There's a program where we have some preparados. It's the same type of program, and it's delivered by Napa City Fire, and it's in Spanish. So preparados is a similar parallel program to the CERT program. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm hearing challenge. The question was, is the training is delivered in Spanish? Yes. So the bottom line here is I'm going to personalize this a little bit. I live with a special needs stepdaughter, right? She has autism. She has challenges trying to deal with when we're trying to get her going for plan for disasters. Understand what that means. Trying to get her, moving in the right direction when we need to. In the fires, when we were under an advisory evacuation, trying to have her understand really what that all meant, right? So in your situation, you guys know that you have to have a plan in place for you and the people that you're assisting, right? And that's a challenge sometimes, because you're...
He's here on your own, he says. So yes, please, we encourage you, if you are looking for additional work, we would love to have you on our registry. We have a high demand for providers in our county.
Hey, George,
Yes, sir.
how does the registry work?
How does the registry work? Well, I think I'll have Mario tell you how the registry works. I'll make Mario speak.
Thanks, George. So the registry works is basically whoever is an IHSS caregiver can apply to be on our registry, which means that we will put your name on a list and we can send to IHSS recipients that don't have any friends or neighbors or family to take care of them. So it's really nice when we're able to send lists out. So basically, you would apply with an application, go through an interview process, and we would connect you with training and send your name out on a list. And that's where we're able to find more clients, get more work, and give back to the community.
Look, second.
Right now, we have about 124 caregivers on the registry, and just a portion of them are available for work, so we're definitely needing more people on our registry to help our IT recipients.
Whoa.
So if you're interested, just come see me in the back after, or, and I'll be there with the application so we can talk more about what needs to happen. But we're always looking for people to be on our registry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mario. So as they continue. All right. How's everybody doing? Enjoying their meal? Enjoying their food? Yes. Raise your hand if you're happy. Raise your hand if you're happy. If you're not happy, also raise your hand. So right now, I would like to introduce to you the chairperson of the Napa County IHSS Public Authority Advisory Committee. He's going to talk to you a little bit. So here is Mr. Randy Kitch. Yes, no, so, yes. Some level of excitement at the end, Yes. So next up, as Mr. Robert gets ready, we will skip our next guest and we'll go to, I will now present to you Mr. Casey Rockwood, our Napa County Aging and Disability Program Manager, who will talk to you about electronic timesheets. Yay, everyone applaud, yay!
Electronic timesheets and this electronic services portal. Oh, that just got way louder. I'll speak a little closer to mine. So, the electronic timesheets have been around for a couple of years now. Raise your hand if you use electronic timesheets already. Okay, that looks about right. There's about 25% of care providers have already enrolled in electronic timesheets, so that looked to be about the right proportion. I'm going to try and sell you on electronic timesheets with some of the benefits that it does have to offer. I think it really is a better way to submit timesheets and get them approved. It's certainly a faster way to get paid, and it puts a lot of things at your control, and a lot more information is available to you to be able to find on your own without having to contact the state or us or try and wait for somebody to answer your questions. So I'm going to go through some of the benefits of electronic timesheets, and I'm going to also talk about what's called electronic visit verification and the requirement that we all be on electronic timesheets by 2021. So first, a bit about electronic visit verification. There is a new federal mandate that home care provider programs have some form of electronic visit verification for care providers when they're providing services in the home. And so states have the option to implement this law as they see fit, as long as they meet certain minimum requirements. So in California has decided to take the least restrictive possible path towards implementing this law. They did not want to do anything that had to do with GPS tracking or having to clock in when you got to somebody's home. We wanted to make this as simple as possible to implement. And so with electronic visit verification, the only change that California has to make is that they have to get everybody on electronic timesheets by January 2021. Because the way that they are complying with this law is to make sure that everyone gets on electronic timesheets and are filling out their timesheets electronically. I'll get a little bit more into what changes that's going to have for the electronic timesheet system towards the end, but the basic message is that by January 2021, your paper timesheets are going away, and the electronic timesheets or the telephonic timesheet system will be the only way to submit and approve timesheets. So we have some time to make that change happen. We've got a year and a half here to get everyone converted to electronic timesheets. And part of what I want to do here today is convince all of you to convert early to help us in that process of getting everyone to electronic timesheets. So some of the things that you can do with electronic timesheets, you can view your payment history. How many of you have called our IHSS payroll to try and figure out if your check's on the way, if you've gotten paid, what happened to your lost timesheet, when is your check coming? All of that you can find out by logging into your electronic services portal, and it'll have a record of where your timesheet is in the process, and also when you can expect to get a check. So you can request supplemental timesheets. I'm sure a lot of you have been approved for some hours in the past, some retroactive hours, or when you first started at IHSS, you needed some timesheets that went back in time for several months, or if you were approved for more hours, and but that approval went back several months and you need supplemental timesheets. You can request those directly from the electronic services portal system, no longer needing to wait for those to arrive in the mail. You can enroll in direct deposit directly from the electronic services portal system. So currently, if you're not already in direct deposit, there's a form that you'd have to fill out and submit and wait to get that processed. With all the forms, I know the form has probably been a barrier to some providers getting onto direct deposit. Hopefully this removes that. If you want to get on direct deposit, you can do it directly through the electronic services portal system. How many of you have claimed sick leave so far? How many of you knew you had sick leave? Okay, so that's good. I do want to touch a little bit on sick leave because you do have sick leave. This is the first year where you have 8 hours of paid sick leave available to you. In order to claim that sick leave, there is a form that you need to fill out and submit. The form is available online, and we have it also at our IHSS office. The sick leave, it does not accumulate, so it is a year of sick leave that you have that actually expires each year and then refills. So in July 1st of this year, the 8 hours that you've accumulated this year goes away, but you get 16 more hours, because in this next fiscal year, you'll actually get 16 hours of paid sick leave. If you are in need of a sick leave claim form today, I do have copies of that form if you'd like to pick them up. I'll leave them on the table up front. You can pick one up as you go out. However, if you choose to enroll in electronic timesheets today, which I'm sure you will, you can also fill out that sick leave claim form directly in the portal itself. And so it makes that easier, that process a lot easier as well. Okay, so how to enroll. If you have a smartphone, you can totally do this right now if you want to. If you want to pull out your smartphone and go to this website, the process is really simple, and I'm going to go through the steps anyway, and if you'd like to go through them with me, I invite you to. And you can access the electronic services portal through your smartphone at any time. You don't need a computer. If you have a smartphone, it will work. You can go to www.etimesheets.ihss, or the way that I usually find things is I Google the first thing that comes to my mind. You can Google IHSS e-timesheet, and it'll be the first thing that comes up, if that's easier for you. Once you're there, you'll be brought to this page. This is what it looks like. If it's your first time here, you're going to need to do the new user registration. So you can see where the red arrow points to that button, new user registration. And you can also select the language that you prefer. There is Spanish, English, Armenian, and Chinese to choose from. That'll bring you to this page. So if you're a provider, most of you are providers, you're going to click the I am provider button, and this will begin your registration process. It'll ask you for your user info. This is just like signing up for any website like Facebook or Twitter or any account that you might open up with a website. It's going to ask for your name. It's going to ask for your provider number. If you're doing this at home and you don't know your provider number, it's on one of your paycheck timesheets where you can find that easily. Date of birth and last four of your social security number. Oops. I'm usually so good with flipping it. Then it's going to ask you for a username and password, confirm password, and an email. You do need an email address. If you don't have one already, you can quickly set one up with Gmail or Yahoo Mail, whatever you choose. And then it's going to ask you for 3 security questions. And those are there just in case you forget your password. They'll use the security questions so that you can reset your password without having to contact anybody if you know the answer to your security questions. Once you do all that, it's going to send an email to that email address, and you'll go there to verify your email address. So that's what the email looks like. You just click on the link to verify your email address and log in. I hear it happening already. And then the final step here is going to ask for your username password, and it'll ask you one of those security questions. At this point, you log in and you have an account. So this is for the provider registration, and the recipient registration is exactly the same, except for in the beginning you click that I'm a recipient. As a provider, you can open up an electronic services portal account, even if your recipient does not, and you will still have access to all of those benefits outside of actually filling out the timesheet. So you'll still be able to do your sick leave form. You'll still be able to see where your timesheet is and where your payment is. So it's still, you still have benefits of signing up for this, even if your recipient isn't ready to approve timesheets through this system yet. Okay? So you don't have to worry about waiting until your recipient is ready. I encourage you just to go ahead, open an account, and when your recipient is ready to get there, once they open their account, you'll automatically be linked for electronic timesheets. If you'd like to, when you get into the system, you'll have the opportunity to invite your recipients to join e-timesheets. So what you can do is go to this screen and you put in their email address and it'll send them an email inviting them to enroll in e-timesheets and go through the same process that you just saw. So if you'd like to do that, you can send them an email, and then you can, if you need to, you can help them through that process as well. Let them know you've invited them for e-timesheets, and this is how you'd like to submit your timesheets to them for approval, and then walk them through that process.
Is your username just your name?
So the question is your username just your name? I believe that your username can be your name, but you can choose whatever username you like. So it's not necessarily your name. You're going to register on that register screen, you're going to put your name, but you're also going to choose a username. So it could be your name, if you choose for it to be. Or it could be whatever you like, yeah. It could be your email address too, if that's easier to remember. Yeah, one of the question is, are there restrictions on the password? So the password must be 8 characters in length, and it must include a combination of letters and at least 2 numbers. So once you've got an account and you've invited your recipient to join e-timesheets as well, and they have an account, you'll automatically be linked, and you'll no longer receive paper timesheets, but your timesheets will be available in this electronic services portal system. So to fill out a timesheet, this is what the screen looks like, and you can see on the top left there, it says electronic timesheets. You go to time, entry, and here you can also see some of the other options you have. You got request supplemental timesheet, timesheet preferences, or stop electronic timesheets. You can also see in the green button, you can view your recent payments, and then there's also a button for like announcements and stuff. Up on top, you can see where the buttons are for direct deposit and sick leave, and then your personal account information. So once you go to a timesheet entry, you're going to select your recipient. Those odd letters, that's supposed to be a recipient's name made up. But so that's the recipient that the provider works for. And then they come here in order to fill out a timesheet. So you're going to select the pay period for which you want to enter time. And just as the paper timesheets are now, they're broken up into work weeks. So is this, you got work week 1, work week 2, work week 3. And down at the bottom, it'll also tell you how much time you're claiming in your timesheet, and it'll also tell you how much time you've already claimed in the past pay period. That's what it looks like when you're entering time. It's just a list of the days. Those black days are the available days within that pay period for you to fill out time. And it's just going to ask you your hours worked, hours and then minutes. Another nice feature of electronic timesheets is that it will give you a warning if you're claiming time that will cause you to get a violation. So sometimes I know that the work weeks are such that you may fill out your timesheet for what you worked, and then you may be surprised to learn that you've gotten a violation for overtime, especially in February because it's a short month, and some of those hours they cause you to get unapproved overtime. What's nice about this is this will let you know that what you're entering will cause a violation, which if it's a mistake, you can have the opportunity to go back and correct before actually incurring a violation. It will also let you submit it and receive a violation, because if you have worked the overtime and you work those hours, you are entitled to the pay, but you'll receive a violation. So violations come into play if you've worked, when you have worked unauthorized overtime, or you're claiming, or if you work for more than one recipient, if you claim more than 66 hours in a week, you'll get a violation. It came with the expansion of overtime for care providers in the IHSS program, which, because before FLSA, you could work as many hours as there were in the day, and there wasn't overtime pay for IHSS care providers. So FLSA, Fair Labor Standards Act, was ruled to apply to IHSS caregivers, which extended overtime pay, but it also came with some of these limitations, which include the violations process. So it's just a way to make sure that if you are working overtime, that there's a limit, that there's an authorized amount of overtime per week that you're able to work.
Is it true that if you get too many violations, you get fired or they take you off?
Yeah, that is in some ways true. So there's a certain number of violations that will result in a suspension. So one violation is a warning, and the second violation, you have the opportunity to do a training packet, which will remove the second violation. Then if you get another one, you'll be at 2. And then if you get another one, and this is all within 1 year, so that if you go a year, one actually gets taken away. And if you get another one, then you have 3, and that third one results in a 90-day suspension. And if you get another one, the fourth one results in a year suspension. We have staff who are back there translating right now. They process those violations, and when they come in, they will do outreach to make sure that it is a violation that needs to be upheld. You have a dispute process as well, because there are exceptions to the violations, and if it meets one of those exception criteria, then you can dispute it and work with our staff to see if it's something that can be overturned. Once you filled out your timesheet, then this is the signature process. It's no longer an actual signature. It's just you logged into your account so they know it's you with your password. You're going to click the button that you electronically sign the timesheet and submit it. So another nice feature about this is that it will greatly reduce the number of timesheets that are not processed because of some sort of mistake due to the handwriting or to it not being signed. We get a lot of delayed timesheets and payments because the timesheet was missing a signature, or the signature was illegible, or the numbers were illegible or in the wrong place. And that just delays payment. We got to go back to the provider, get a new timesheet, and wait for all the mailing to happen. And obviously, we want you to be paid as quickly as possible. So another nice feature about electronic timesheets is that those mistakes really aren't possible. You can't submit it without signing it, and so you'll see less of those delays. And then on the recipient end, once you submit a timesheet, they'll get an email saying that your provider has submitted a timesheet and it's ready for your approval. They're able to log in then to the portal, and they can see a list of their providers with timesheets ready to review. They can click on that, and then they'll have the opportunity to review the time entered and either approve or reject the timesheet. Hopefully they approve it. If it needs to be rejected, they will have the opportunity to select one of 3 reasons why it's rejected, and then it will get kicked back to the provider, letting them know why it was rejected and what needs to be corrected.
If you move to another state, does this follow you?
The question is if you move to another state, does this follow you? And I've never been asked that question before, but I'm going to say with near certainty that no. That this is a California Department of Social Services program. And that the way they may have implemented it in another state may look totally different. And they may not even have electronic timesheets, so, yeah.
So just to clarify, in a 2-week period, people are only allowed to work up to 132 hours, 66 and 66?
So it's 66 hours per week if the provider works for more than one recipient.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's a one-to-one relationship in most cases, I believe that 66-hour rule does not apply.
What would apply in 40? It would be the max? Is that what you're normal?
What they do for the authorized overtime is they take the total amount of authorized hours in the month, more or less, divide it by 4, and that'll give you the amount of time that you're able to work per week. So you can never work more than your recipient's authorized hours, but if your recipient has the maximum number of hours, they'll divide that by 4, which will come out to 70 hours and 45 minutes per week. That would be if you had the maximum amount of time authorized for your recipient. That would be the amount of overtime you have per week, would be then 30 hours of overtime a week.
And then what's time and a half?
Yes, time and a half, yeah. Yeah. So that's the way that they calculate authorized overtime, is they take your total recipient's hours and divide it by 4. But like I say, there's certain instances when you may be able to work over that amount of time, over your authorized overtime. It's just, you may get a violation and then you may have to dispute it and let us know what circumstance led you to work more than that time, and then it's overturned. Like some of those examples include like just there was no other care provider, like maybe a recipient does have more than one care provider, but the other care provider was out sick or not able to work, and so you had to step in and work that time, and that led you to work overtime. That's an approved exception to the violation. Yes? Oh, the question is, what happens if the portal goes down? The portal doesn't go down. I mean, it is rock solid. What I can say right now is that we still have paper timesheets. So if the portal were to go down for an extended period of time, you would revert to the paper timesheets. We give you those paper timesheets and they be processed. However, it's a good question for after 2021 when there are no paper timesheets. They haven't experienced that issue, and I think what we have to remember about the portal is for it to be unusable, really, it would have to be down for a total of 2 weeks, because we really need to access it at least once during the 2-week pay period in order to fill out the timesheets, right? And so if it were to be down for an extended period of time, I'm not sure what their solution would look like, but it would take quite a crash for it to be down for the amount of time that it would take for it to cause delay in payment. It'd have to be kind of at the right moment for a long period of time. But it could happen, it's a good question. Yeah, for sure. So it's a good question that I can bring up to CDSS. Sure.
Who helps the recipient sign the timesheet or not?
So the question is, who helps the recipient sign a timesheet if they're unable to sign their own timesheets? And we currently have a process in place for that. If the recipient is unable to sign their own timesheet, we have a timesheet signatory form that allows another person to sign their timesheets. It just can't be the provider. So it's the same process. We have to get that form, and then once we have that form, the person signing the timesheet for the recipient is able to log into the portal and sign the timesheet on their behalf, completely legally and okay, as long as we have the timesheet authorization form. Raina? Oh,
The question is, what if they don't have, if the recipient did choose a provider to send them for electronic timesheet, but the recipient doesn't have access to a smartphone or the internet at that, or regular office?
yeah. And someone
Library.
has if they don't have one in their home, they do need to just access the website only when they need to approve the timesheet. So if they are able to access a computer at the library, that's totally okay. Or if they're able to access at least once during that pay period, once the provider has submitted a timesheet, that would work. It's my next slide actually though, there's another option. If computers don't work for the recipient to sign timesheets and there's no timesheet signatory available to sign timesheets on their behalf, they can sign up for the telephone timesheet system. And this is actually also available now for our blind and visually impaired recipients who aren't able to read a timesheet. They are signed up for this telephonic timesheet system. And so when the provider submits their electronic timesheet, it prompts a call to the recipient's telephone number, and the timesheet is read to them, and they are able to approve it by pushing buttons on their phone instead. So this process is available for people that do not have access to a computer. If they have access to a telephone, this will work for them. To sign up for telephone timesheets, you need to call us at the county IHSS offices, and we can get you set up with telephonic timesheets. So if you're a provider and you sign up for e-timesheets today, but your recipient wants to sign up for telephonic timesheets as a way to approve the timesheets that you're going to submit, give us a call, and we'll set you up with an account for telephonic timesheets, kind of walk you through how it works, and get your recipient set up with that. Okay, so that's my e-timesheets pitch, and walking through how to register, how to fill out timesheets, how to get your recipient registered, and also approve timesheets. Now, I said I was going to come back to EDV a little bit. So again, electronic visit verification is a new law that we're having to implement in California, which is to have some way to electronically verify the workday of a care provider. And like I said, California chose to implement this by making electronic timesheets standard for everybody and get rid of paper timesheets. They're also having to implement a small change to the way the timesheet looks. So currently, the timesheet looks like this. It's very simple. It's hours worked. You got the day, and then you put the hours worked in that day. After January 2021, when EDV is implemented and everyone is on e-timesheets, the e-timesheet will look slightly different. It will have 3 more columns. So it's a little bit more complex, but I promise you it's still quite simple. None of this is too hard. It'll have a start time and an end time, as well as a location column. And this they had to put in again to comply with that federal mandate for electronic visit verification in order to meet the regulations. So the start time is going to be the time you first started working in the morning, and the end time is going to be the time you last started working in the evening or during that day. And it doesn't matter if you work for multiple recipients or you worked 2 shifts that day. It's just the very first time you started work and the very end time you started work. And then the location is got 3 options: community, home, or both. So if you were driving around, or if you were doing work only in the home, or if you were doing both. So with that, one of the questions I sometimes get is like, can the start time and the end time, does it have to equal the total hours worked? And the answer is no. You may start your day at 9 a.m. and end your day at 10 p.m., but during that time only have worked 5 hours. Because maybe during the middle you weren't working. So you would put 9 a.m. as start time, 10 p.m. as end time, and then put 5 hours for total hours work. Again, this is now what the timesheet looks like now. This is what to expect in January of 2021. So there's an example of one filled out. Okay, so that's that. Feel free to contact us during this transition period. Again, our goal is from now until January 2021 to get 100% of providers and recipients signed up for electronic timesheets in anticipation of there being no more paper timesheets in a year and a half. So we want to be there to help you. If you're trying to get through the process of registering, give us a call. We're happy to walk you through it. That's our IHSS payroll number and our email. There's also a handout in your folder that has this contact information and others as well, in case you have any questions at all. Okay, who's excited for e-timesheets? Yeah. Yes. All right. So thank you very much for listening to that and hearing me out on e-timesheets. Hopefully you can take some time to get enrolled, talk to your recipient, and get them enrolled. And feel free to contact us with any questions or support you need. I'm going to hand it over to George to give out the rest of our baskets.
Thank you. Great job.
All right, so we have come to the conclusion of this event. I would like to again thank every one of you for coming out and being here, taking time and being here. Would like to also thank the Elks Lodge for serving our wonderful food. We hope that you enjoyed this event. And again, I would like, they're signaling me to remind folks who have their headsets to turn them in as they go out. So las personas que tienen los out en el sistema de audio que lo entregan al salir. So again, once again, I want to thank every single one of you for being here. And have a great the rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you.
Totally, yeah.